is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 266. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. Sitting here on a Sunday, beautiful Austin, Texas, headed into the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs, capping off the regular season schedule last night out there in San Jose. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm doing well. As you said, a beautiful day. Got a nice bike ride in again. That was fantastic. Last night I did not care. Obviously I'm going to watch the game. Would I have loved to have won that game? Of course. The only thing that mattered to me was staying healthy, getting out of that hellhole, getting back to Austin, and getting ready for the playoff matchup. Obviously, it was fun, scoreboard watching and everything, and we got some real crazy endings to a couple games there. That Chicago matchup was nuts to kick us
both
off.
Conferences, right?
Yep, yeah. And then you had some really fun endings and some surprise, upsets, I believe, last night with some teams that I definitely thought, shouldn't have been in a conversation with some of these clubs that they were playing. So moving into the playoffs, man, I'm super excited about that. Playoff soccer is back in Austin, Texas, and that is a beautiful thing. So I'm ready for that.
Well, to get there, we have to recap last night's loss out there at the hands of the desperate San Jose Earthquakes. We'll recap that match. We'll check in on the best keeper of the world. We will clean up the nonsense here for the 2025 season, E. All that and more here on episode 266. Before we get into this episode, just want to remind you all, as we always do, whether you're watching on the YouTube channel or listening to the audio version, you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get those podcasts. You can toggle on auto downloads. That'll support the show going forward, and you don't have to think about it again. If you want to go the extra mile, rate and review the show wherever you get those pods. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button first. That does help us grow the show. Then you head over to your podcast app, you download this episode, and then you press play on the YouTube. You can also hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, here on episode 266, hit the thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. So, E, we did get the injury report, of course, on Friday afternoon. Diego Rubio, I think probably unsurprisingly, just ruled straight out for this weekend, nursing that hamstring injury that held him out against LAFC the previous weekend. And then you also get a questionable tag on Osman Bukhari, and quad, I believe, was the designation there. And I think that is just, let's put him in bubble wrap. He was the guy who got the blessing to stay home, I guess, right? Hopefully it's not a serious issue and just some general soreness there, as we like to say. And that also, I mean, you look at the lineup too, no Book, no Rubio, like we said, but then all three of those guys that traveled for international duty were also on the bench. Riley Thomas available, no call-ups, so not dipping into the FCTO roster here for this one. How'd you feel about the lineup and I guess about, how we structured everything overall headed into this match where you said priority one, stay healthy?
Maybe my stance before the game was a little extreme and not what a professional head coach would have looked at and been like, this is what we're going to do. But I do think that Coach Nico and his staff kind of half-stepped around what they wanted to do. I definitely did not want to see Dessler out there. He's dealt with hip tightness or quad tightness, something in his right leg for a little while now. He has been injury prone for his entire
since he's been here.
Career here in Austin. Again, emphasis on the pitch in San Jose. It is a factor that had to be taken into account for this game last night. We're driving up to go, up for Mike's little watch party up there in Round Rock, which was a fantastic time. Shout out Mike, one half of the North End Pirates there and everything like that. And, I said I would have gone full Nico out if he started our choice 11 in this matchup. And I was serious.
Look, we got to come correct here. You said if somebody gets hurt,
right,
you're Nico out.
Yes. So, but we also, if we're coming correct, I said one of our key players gets hurt.
Yes, sure,
so
sure.
It was with the aspect of,
dealing accuracies here.
Starting our routine guys here. And I still believe that the kids, the younger players here deserve to put the colors on and go out there and rep the team. This was an absolutely meaningless game for Austin. And, we've seen, talks about going in, on a hot streak or what have you. You just beat LAFC. That was the streak. You did your job. You know what I mean? And yes, they did not have Bouanga, but you still did your job and you beat a high quality team that has plenty of depth up and down their entire roster. So when this lineup comes out, and I see Dessler and I see Biru and, who else did we get out there? Pep. We see Pep. I was so worried about Pep because we learned earlier that you get a red card, and if you get a red card in this last game of the season, you're out for the first game of the playoffs.
Which is stupid, but that's a terrible rule.
Incredibly dumb, but it's still the rule. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
right. You got it. Yeah.
Like we talked about, on the last episode where Pep was talking with the We Are Awesome TV guys. He doesn't have a lower gear. That's just not who it's not in his personality. It's not who he is. He goes out there and he plays hard every fucking time, and he's a feisty, spunky little dude, man. So I didn't want to risk any of these guys. Obviously Owen getting out there again. I just think there was an opportunity to get the young guys out there, let them wear the colors, let them wear the badge and everything. Have your moment with the first team and live with the results. So I will say, obviously we're going to get into it, but you get the subs at half, which I thought was great. We clearly were not playing a very aggressive style from the rip of this game. So it was baked into the equation that this was not a full throttle, go get them kind of game. So I give the staff credit for that, man. But I'm just glad nobody got hurt. That's really the only thing that matters to me.
When you got kind of what you expected from the San Jose side of this in terms of the lineup, right? They even add Oseni Buda out there. So you've got Buda, Chicho, Joseph, and Espinoza with LaRue and Ronaldo Vieira there in the midfield. And look, Jamar Ricketts is up there, who we just saw with the freaking town for FCito a couple of weeks ago. And he wasn't bad. We know he's good pushing up that left side. Kikanovic as well is a very offensive-minded player there at their right back. So they were absolutely trying to put the heat on us from minute one. And you see it as this game begins, right? Because San Jose immediately, I don't know if they were trying to, it didn't seem like they were trying to kick this out to go press. But whatever they were trying to do, they immediately kicked it out over the end line for a goal kick. And I was still kind of getting my bearings as the game started. I thought we were the ones who kicked it out over the end line. And I was like, oh, here we go. You looked at me. It was like, it's our goal kick, dude.
Well, we returned the favor in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll really pick things up here in the 5th minute where over the first couple minutes, Biru is, and again, Biru, you line up in that kind of 5-back, right? Where Johnny's like sliding up and down that left side. Like, I still maintain there's a very different style when you have Biru in that left wing back spot and 3 true center backs. I think that is a very different look and feel when Austin aligns that way. But Biru not playing like a left center back here early on. And so he beats a couple Quakes defenders down that left sideline before pinging a ball all the way to the right side of the 18 in the direction of Robert Taylor, Robert Taylor on the right now, second straight appearance. We've seen him line up on that right side, which pretty sure that is still he's a left winger, right? At heart. And also, I guess we didn't mention this, kind of glossed over it. Congrats to Robert Taylor on his first start in an Austin uniform. I don't think any of us thought it would take till fucking decision day, but he got it in there. So Taylor's out there on the right side trying to run this ball down. And Earl Edwards, who was starting in place of Daniel, I don't think I saw what happened with their starting goalkeeper, but Earl Edwards in there backing him up. Edwards charges out to the edge of that area to try to snag it before Taylor gets there, and he does beat Taylor to the ball. But as he slides to get it, he slides outside of that 18-yard box And it sure looked like live that he handled this ball outside the penalty area, but there was no call live. Austin earns a throw. And on the replay, man, it wasn't the best angle. I actually think that might have been a correct no call. I think he might have got it with his chest and kind of corralled it that way. I'm not sure, if you could argue that, he handled it with like his shoulder. So maybe that should be, I don't know. Once I saw the one replay that they did give us, I was certainly not up in arms about it as much as we were when it happened.
It's a handball. The angle that we saw was shit. There's no way that he was in the box, went to ground, and was like, I'm not going to grab this ball. I'm going to usher it out with my left hit. Like that did not happen.
Dude, he's a professional.
That did not happen. This was absolutely a handball. He rolls. He slides on that pitch. I don't know how many yards outside of his own box there, but you're telling me a goalkeeper goes to ground, a guy who can use his hands, and he doesn't fucking use his hands, and his momentum carries him all the way out. And he had the foresight to be like, here's the line right here. I'm going to let go right now. I do not think that he was capable of doing that. And that is interesting. I'm looking at their bench too. Daniel not even on the bench there. So, and not on the injury report. So that was pretty odd. So I still think this was a handball. I thought it was ridiculous. And yes, the angle that we got to see, it does appear from that angle, but that's because his body is blocking.
Yeah, shields from that angle, yeah.
So I don't know. I still think that should have been called a handball, but what a weird, like we've never seen that before. I didn't, we're asking, is that probably, yes. You know what I mean? Going outside of the zone there. Yeah. So
because when we had Stuver, we had that close call with Stuver a couple weeks ago, right? Where he was like on the edge of the box. And I think they said on the broadcast, the rule was you have to be all the way outside. Edwards was certainly all the way outside the box here, but I guess the replay was just not helpful. And so I moved on at that point.
So I did as well, but I still maintain that I do think that was a handball. Yeah.
Fair enough. 12th minute here. Quakes, some sustained possession throughout the first 10 minutes, even though we had that bit of excitement down there with Earl Edwards. Here, Christian Espinoza gets on a ball down the right side after Biru slipped down, and that was kind of the first, here's the San Jose pitch kind of biting us in the ass. And it looked like there was a nice chunk out of the San Jose defensive half just over midfield in that first half. Either way, Espinoza gets down towards the Austin final third. He crosses it in right to the head of Chicho Arango, who nods it on frame. Stuver able to get down to his right, parries it away. But then when Senny Buddha gets on that rebound, he pulls it back across net just wide. And then a corner is given. So it looks like on the replay, Heinz Eich covering Stuver's back on the goal line gets a touch to it to save it out for a corner. And, that's one thing is if Stuver's in a pickle, Heinz Eich's going to put himself in harm's way on that goal line. We've seen it plenty.
This was a night of many, many deflections. This is throughout the course of the game here. We were getting all kinds of deflections and blocks and what have you. And I'm just going to jump back to the Biru thing because the same thing that applies to Pep applies to Biru. Biru does not have a slow gear, and he also does not have the soundest mind when it comes to, relaxing. When
he's in the heat of competition.
Exactly. And I love him for that. Of course I do. Yeah. But your job as a head coach is to be able to recognize that in a player and be like, all right, I'm not going to let my fucking ponies go out here and just kind of run wild. And thank God later in this game, we'll get to it, that this, ref wasn't on some sort of power trip, or Guillermo hadn't caught an earlier yellow, which he could have after that one bullshit foul, in my opinion, which we'll get to. But again, this was some of the examples as to why I was so adamant about nobody out there.
The next minute we do, and this is more of just like our nonsense at the end, right? The underdog entry goes under because Vancouver picks up an early red card. Which helped Dallas ultimately stay in the top 7 there. But that was a bummer too, because of course all of us wanted to see Dallas get bounced, and it sure seemed like they were at least going to get knocked to the wild card. But that red card seemed very soft. Either way, yeah. Oh, you haven't seen the replay? I
still have not seen it.
Oh, well, you keep your blood pressure down a few points there if you just continue on through life. So back to our game here in the 22nd minute. Austin playing very conservatively overall, and I don't think either you or I had a problem with it, especially at that point 0-0. But Here you get a nice combination through the midfield. Taylor, Danny, Owen, then on to Obrian down that right side, and Obi beats Dave Romney to this ball and then squares himself towards the 18, playing a ball back towards the top of the box. Danny's there, but he lets it run through towards Robert Taylor, but Taylor overran it a little bit. He had to come back to the ball and takes a little tiny bit of contact from Vieira, flops, goes down, nothing in that, but that ball is chased down by Owen Wolf, probably 7 yards outside the 18, and Owen turns towards net, takes one touch towards the center of the park before ripping a right-footed shot that deflects off the back of Jamar Ricketts and into the net. And for the number of deflected goals like that we have taken at the back this year, we will certainly take that little bit of luck, and we'll never know. I'm not totally certain that ball wasn't going in anyways, because Owen hit that with a lot of confidence. Either way, Austin takes the early lead off the deflection, and Owen Wolf up to 15 goal contributions in the league, joining only Sebastian Driussi and Diego Fagundes as the players in Austin FC history to reach that mark in a single season. So once again, Owen Wolf setting a new bar for himself, and deserves all the recognition he's got and then some.
Absolutely. And like you said there, that shot looked, when it obviously there was, the deflection happens pretty soon.
Yeah.
But when it came off of his foot, I perked up quite a bit. Also super happy that he took this strike, which is something we've, been asking for, the hesitation, not just from Owen per se, but a lot of players on this team. And as you mentioned there, the 15 goal contributions, he hasn't had a bullshit goal all season. You get to the deflection here, like you get fortunate and it beats Edwards. And, I just want to talk more so about the 15 goal contributions on the season to move into, the rarefied air here in Austin, which is not, very high up in the stratosphere, but to have, your name up there with Seba, who, in my opinion, was the best player in the league in 2022, and Fagundes, who had an absolutely incredible season that year. I believe 14 or 15 assists that year, man, is awesome, and he's still got room to grow. And as much as we've touted him all season long, he just continues to play really well. And it would have been cool to see this, go upper 90 and just beat Edwards, which I thought it could have had the trajectory to do, but you're up 1-0 here. And now I'm even more so fucking take him out of the game, get him out, and again, my position, some people agreed with it, some people didn't, about, just sending all the kids out there and letting them run around.
Yeah.
There was more context outside of just, this field sucks, we have nothing to play for. There was the component of the fact that San Jose does not like us. Like, they don't like us. And if you got up on them early and they're staring down the barrel about to be bounced, someone could take a cheap shot. Someone could do something dirty. And I think of all the games that we've seen them, I think, this is the third game we've had against them this season. This was the least chippy affair we had. And so, that was something I was worried about as well. But being up 1-0 here, not something I expected, particularly the way this game had started. So yeah, just, we're happy, having a good time there, sitting up there with the Pirates. Well, pirate. We got a tardy pirate. Pirate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think when you think, I absolutely agree that it was the least contentious of the three meetings this season, and definitely up there, maybe the least contentious Austin San Jose game of all times. Right.
Yeah,
and I think, like, potentially, I think maybe you could go back to when they drubbed us 4-0 in that first season when we had, late in the year. But I think a lot of it had to do with, you could tell just watching on TV that Austin was not as aggressive as they typically are, even in a game where they're holding, trying to play more of a low block and counter. Like, it just, they had their priorities in order. At least that's how I perceived it through the screen. 31st minute here after the goal. Of course, now San Jose, like you said, staring down the barrel of straight up elimination, really starting to put the heat on Austin at the back, as now the Verde and Black seem very even more content to sit back and absorb some pressure. And here, LaRue has a crack from the top of the box. He doesn't fully connect with it, and Stuver scoops it up. And then Stuver's trying to boot it away to restart it, and Chicho kind of trots right in front of him and that Stuver kick goes off of Chicho's back, bounces right into the path of Joseph Martinez, who chips it over the Austin defender into the net, but head official Filip Dujic has blown his whistle. I think we got a little bit lucky there. Obviously, somebody can't, at least I don't think somebody can go and intentionally put themselves in front of a goalkeeper like that. I also thought Chicho was pretty sneaky with it. And like, even on the replay, I think you could make an argument that he wasn't like, I don't think it's right, but I don't think it's the worst argument in the world that you say he was just, naturally starting to jog back. Spirit of the rule, I guess. I think we got at least a little bit lucky that the whistle was blown.
I also think that we got a little bit lucky here. And this is when a little bit of the chicanery starts. You know what I mean? We know Chicho, man, and you saw him last night, and it just felt like he was itching to put it on somebody. You know what I mean? He does this, they're down 1-0 here, so they're going to pull out all the stops to do what you got to do to fucking win. And I do think you got a little, potentially a little lucky here. But it is what it is, man.
2 minutes later in the 33rd, shots starting to rain down upon Bradley Scott at this point. Hiroseni Buddha turns around Dubrsarski about 8 yards outside the box, and Buddha has a crack with his right foot from distance that forces Stuver to push it up and over the bar for another corner. And I thought Austin did fairly well on the majority of the night, especially considering how many set pieces they had to defend from those corner kicks. They did fairly well. Here, nothing doing for San Jose. 4 minutes later, San Jose again settled into that Austin final third. All 11 players for Austin are in front of the ball here. Quakes finally find an avenue through that low block. It's a nice pass from Espinoza into Vieira behind the line. And Vieira puts it centrally to Joseph Martinez, and then he sees Buddha open wide left, slides it onto him. It was good positioning from Austin on the whole on this play. And then Djordjevic in particular to block it out for another San Jose corner. The defense was very sound in the first half.
Yep, especially with what they were being asked to do, which was just absorb a ton of pressure. And if you checked out the article in the North End podcast before the game here, I did a bit of a deeper dive on Espinosa and found some pretty interesting stats about his. We talked about the quality of his crosses, but led the league in crosses into the penalty box. I think he was top 6 in goal creating actions this season and led the entire league in total crosses this year. So this was a huge part of the game. And you mentioned who they started, essentially 5 strikers, 5 attacking players, because they were going for it. And that's how they played all season long. And that's how Bruce wanted this team to play. And that's how the roster is constructed. But you started to see a little bit of the quality of Espinosa here in particular. And when they got settled down, they had some nice kind of intricate passing. I also think you saw the quality of Djordjevic last night. Again, another solid shift by him, man. He has been really impressive in my book. I've seen him now. What's this?
Fourth appearance, I think.
4th or 5th, yeah. And not one time, he's had a couple errors, but if we're going through the list of fucking center backs that we've seen here in Austin, man, he ain't the worst. That's for sure.
Not that it's the toughest trivia question, but ZG. Correct. 4 appearances, 4 starts here for Matea, 323 minutes closing out the regular season, and just 1 minute given in stoppage time here. San Jose earns a free kick. Obrian just running through somebody's back there. That could have been a yellow, I think, if the official was calling it a little bit tighter or quicker to go to his pocket. So it's about 15 yards over midfield on that right sideline, and Espinoza takes it. He floats it towards the near post. It's cleared out, but to the opposite side of the 18, where Ricketts puts it back into the mixer. Daniel Muni gets up and heads it just wide out for a goal kick, and the halftime whistle blows. Coming out of the half, we do get subs at the half, like you mentioned earlier. You get Kolmanic and Sabovic in for Dessler and Wolf. And, I think we were preaching to the choir here. We love it.
Go sit down. Get your water. Go sit down. Go watch the rest of this game. I would have liked to also have gotten Pep out for the reasons I've already stated a couple of times, but I'm happy that Nico and the staff made this decision here.
So in the 48th minute, the Quakes immediately applying pressure again on that Austin defense, and off of a throw-in here. There's shouts for a handball, that go unanswered by Dujic, the official, and San Jose continues to play. Vieira takes a rip from the top of the box. Stuver blocks that shot, but back into the field of play where Bo LaRue tries to follow it up, and it takes a deflection up and over the bars. One of many chances and offensive rebound opportunities for this team to put goals past Austin. Like, I know they eventually come, but we got to a point mid-second half where I was like, dude, maybe this is just our night. One of those games where you're on the other side. We've had it happen to us plenty in the past.
Yeah.
Where a team sneaks out a win with the stats being so out of whack there. Either way, Austin's able to defend 2 more corners successfully before earning a goal kick. And I just want to call out, man, like Tyler Terrence and Kendra de Saint Aubin. Like, for Kendra, like, obviously we take exception to how they characterized the Biru challenge on Ricky Pooch last year. Guilherme doesn't do himself any favors or us any favors with the way he closes this match out. But in this moment, for Kendra to say, I've given up on judging handballs, I don't know, maybe give up commentating because it's consistently horrendous at the time that you're talking about these plays. And even with the benefit of replay, I understand. I agree with her that handballs can be called very inconsistently, especially crew to crew. But this, in a vacuum, I don't know how you can argue for this to be a handball. Like, it just seems like the most natural of all natural positions. Yeah. With Djordjevic on Martinez's back there. So I just had to get that out there, man, because I thought that was just, again, heinous. Because they weren't wrong later when they start talking about Biru, I guess.
No, that crew does not like us, and maybe it stemmed from that LA Galaxy game or something. I'm not sure, but also like you said, his arm is in natural position here. Martinez had also been grabbing his arm and like holding on to it, which I don't know if that comes into account for a handball.
That's a PK if it's Torrey Penso.
Look,
we got the scouting reports on the announcers, on the officials.
Yeah,
this guy's your game.
We know the haters, man. So yeah, no, move on. And the fact that they didn't even take a look at it, I think really solidifies that.
There was a VAR check and it was quick. They're like, no.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. That's how quick it was.
And she continued to say, I don't know this. I don't know that. I'm like, yeah, well, we can tell. Come on. 52nd minute, you get a yellow card to Duber Sarski, contact to Ricketts. That didn't seem, I think I agree with Nico here. That did not seem yellow card worthy, but yeah, again, not going to get too up in arms about it. 3 minutes later in the 55th, Arango wins a ball back off of Biru, who's all the way in the right corner of Austin's defensive third here. I don't remember, honestly, off the top of my head now, if that was coming off of a corner kick or some other sort of set piece. But again, Biru all over the place in this one. Chicho attempts a pass to Joseph. That's blocked away by Duber-Sarski, but it comes to the feet of Bo LaRue, who combines with Ricketts and Buda before the ball finds itself back at the feet of LaRue. He's got space for a cross, so he lofts it towards the back post, where Kekanovic flies in and taps it towards net. It pings off the post, back across the face of net, and out for a goal kick. You see on the replay, man, after it went past Stuver off the post, Brad knew nothing about it. I would imagine he thought it went in while he was kind of rolling over to look behind him. And I think it might have been the Minnesota match, but in one of those two Open Cup matches before the final, there was an attempt by our opponent that went off the post and spun out over the end line on the other side of the goal.
Yep.
I don't know if it was the San Jose match or not, but I remember that shot very clearly, and this is very similar. Very lucky that was not the equalizer for San Jose.
All luck on this one here. It's kind of funny that we used like most of our luck this season on a meaningless game. That didn't mean shit. Because,
exhausted the coffers last night.
Yeah, because this absolutely should have been a goal here. He's got Brad beat completely. So very, very fortunate. But I guess a sign of things to come with the way that San Jose was playing, with the way that Austin had completely, taking your foot off the gas here. And I do think as this game progressed a little bit more, you did find yourself getting some pretty solid counter opportunities because San Jose was just numbers forward, caution to the wind. If we give another goal, fuck it. It doesn't matter. So I do give the guys credit for a couple of these, counter plays that you see here, but the press and the heat is just on right now, and Brad is just fighting for his life.
62nd minute, double change for Austin here. Svatek and Cascante come in, swap out those center backs. Heinzek and Djordjevic take a seat. On the other side, you get Preston Judd in for Ricketts, so the Quakes pushing even more forwards onto the field, more numbers forward. 68th minute. I don't think I saw this live on the rewatch. Yellow card to Kolmanich. This was after he was offside, and I thought pretty clearly so. And he, after the whistle, kicks the ball at the linesman. And I think we're very lucky that he was 30 yards away, because if you're in the face of the linesman there and you do that, that might be a red. And again, I think because you and I found a little bit of amusement and concern with what Biru does in stoppage time, and I didn't see this live, overlooked, man. Kolmanich, that's out of line too. Both of you guys, it's something about that left side over there in San Jose, maybe. It drives you crazy.
Lost his mind here.
Yeah,
this is not something we have ever seen from. I think he was more upset about the fact that the ball didn't come earlier. I don't think he's mad about the call.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure when
he kicked it at the guy who made the call, and that's not a good look.
For sure. No, it was a terrible look. And for him to do this is completely out of character. And then, but I'm pretty sure you see him mouth something along the lines of like, what the fuck, pass it. Or like, what the fuck, something's got to come sooner or something. Sure. But yeah, dude, again, and completely unnecessary. Yeah. You were way off sides, man. Way off.
Yeah. Final change for Austin in the 72nd. You get CJ in for Danny. So there's Pep to the bench, and we know who we're rolling with through the final whistle of this one. In the next minute, double change for San Jose. Responding to the Austin subs, Chakiris and Skahan in for LaRue and Buddha. And right after the subs, Quakes threatening again. Austin able to rebuke 2 chances inside the 18, but San Jose stays in possession, and they rotate it back to the left side to the foot of Skahan, who crosses it in towards the spot where Joseph rises up over the bunch and nods it home to equalize. This one had some power. Look, man, it was coming, and you see the continued goal-scoring threat that little Joseph Martinez provides. The verticality on this guy, the vertical leap, is impressive. And again, I thought that was another great point that you brought up on the preview episode, or you put into the article rather, that 3 straight double-digit goal-scoring seasons for the former MVP. Like, he's it's been many, many years, right, since the years of 30-plus goals for him, but, like, he's still extremely dangerous, and, like, somebody I would love to have in our second striker spot. As a rotation option up there. Obviously, he's kind of a game in, game out guy for them. I think he started a little over 2/3 of the game this year, but you see the quality, man, and it burns us here in the 74th minute.
Yeah, like I said, he's got a nose for net, man. Dude's professional goal scorer and small guy, but still, like you said, the verticality here to get on top of this ball and put a great header past Brad. And it had just been building, it had been coming, but still, it was baked into the game plan. And you have to just be okay with what happened last night because we got out of there unscathed.
Off the restart here, man, Austin loses the ball fairly quickly. Like, I don't think we held it for more than 15 seconds before the Quakes take it off us, and they're charging on a counter. Chicho, I thought here, Chicho pulls Biru into him.
Yes.
And the foul is called on Biru. And I think that's what Guilherme is trying to argue his case to Filip Dujic. And, like, I know that's a tough call to make. And, I think it was a little bit of, just kind of gamesmanship from Chicho there. Like, fooled the ref into giving him or getting the call, rather. And so San Jose sets up for the set piece while Austin's trying to get their wall ready. And you get Espinoza and Chakiris lining up over it. And I think somewhat surprisingly, certainly to the announcers and maybe to Austin's defense as well, Chakiris takes the free kick and he blasts it with his left right through the wall and sneaks it inside the near post for the lead. Look, I think this is a poor effort by all involved. I think Brad can do better, but I'm also at the same time not going to put any fault on Brad for this because the guys in the wall, that's not a wall.
No.
That's a revolving door.
Yeah, it's a screen door.
Turned.
Yeah. Terrible.
And like whether you're expecting Shakiris to take that or not, man, you can't turn when you're in the wall.
No.
You got to be solid. You got to be wide. And Brad is pissed after this, and for good reason.
Absolutely. And I think Brad is anticipating a Chicho shot here, which
Espinosa.
I think Espinosa on this. So I think, he's not, expecting a left-footed curling kind of ball towards the near post there, which might have affected his position for sure. Still got to also tip your hat to the goal scorer here. This is a really nice strike, but again, the wall.
But dude, if the wall does anything, it's not even on. It's a block shot. It's not even deflected. On target.
Yep. And like as much as I'm fine with taking your foot off the gas, not playing this game hard, in a situation like this, do your job.
Yeah, this is
normally
inexcusable.
Yes,
I don't care who's out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now it's just let's just get to the plane.
Yeah, get out of here.
Let's get to the plane. Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it was, man. Like, because the foot was already off the gas. I mean, I don't even know if we even pressed the gas in this one, but like once you make those 5 subs early, like there is no threat really here from Austin down the stretch. San Jose does make their final 2 changes a few minutes after that second goal. In the 85th, you get Vitor Costa, Ian Harks in for Joseph, and Chicho. I believe you get 5 minutes of stoppage shown here in the second half. And in the second minute, this is what we've been dancing around pretty much the whole episode. Biru shown a yellow card after him and Judd come together, right? Judd goes down, foul whistled. And after the whistle, Biru kicks the ball at Judd's head while he's on the ground. Like, it wasn't hard, but it was accurate. Bopped him right on the top of the noggin. And not only does Judd get up, rightfully have words for Guilherme, that could have been a red. And if I'm on the other team, I'm arguing for one.
I might try to escalate it again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, why? What do I have to lose? Them get suspended for the next game. They're still, obviously they're not scoreboard watching. I don't know if they had shit up in the stadium or what have you, but they're not in the playoffs despite being in the lead here.
Right.
And just fucking stupid, Guilherme. Yep. It's just dumb, dude. We're in the playoffs. They're not. They're going home. We're going to the playoffs. It's dumb. There's just no need for it, man. And, as much as I would have, again, not like to have seen all of our guys out there, a coach can't control this. You can't just be this. This is just boneheaded by Guilherme. There's no fucking need for this. And you fouled him. It was a foul.
Yeah.
And I think he was upset about the previous call with Chicho. I think that's what kind of boiled over because
that's 20 minutes ago, brother.
But still, I think this is his next interaction with the ref, essentially, where he's getting whistled for something. So, like, I think that was still on his mind, but stupid.
I think I skipped over the right. You got that Robert Taylor shot in the 87th minute from that left side there, the right-footed shot. Like, not too dangerous there. And then the last note I had here in the 4th minute of stoppage, this is Brad taking a goal kick quickly out to Kolmanich on the left, and Jean fires one towards CJ on the run. CJ splits the 2 Quakes defenders who are back, and that ball bounces once. I think you got to give credit to Siege for getting some good position against Muni here entering the box, and then tries this cheeky little heel flick up and over Earl Edwards to himself. But Edwards was able to block that attempt down and quell the danger. So that was really, again, that little bit of a Taylor chance, and then that CJ run in the last 20 minutes. That's really all you see in terms of an offensive threat. And you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
Because mission accomplished. You got out of there with from what we know on the surface, no worse for wear for any of those guys.
Yep, absolutely. And like, there's been plenty of games and plenty of moments and plenty of efforts by this team to criticize them. If you were criticizing them last night, you are a crybaby. The season was over. This was a meaningless game. If you criticize this team last night, get a hobby because that's ridiculous. You got out of there healthy. That's all that fucking matters. I don't care that San Jose won their fucking last game. They can take all that momentum and just ride it straight to the couch, and they can watch because they didn't get into the playoffs. So very happy that we got out of there unscathed. Again, this season has been a success in all around. The regular season now has been rounded out, and you move into the postseason, which is an entirely different season in itself. But the regular season for this team has been an absolute success. You made the playoffs. You avoided the wild card. You juggled going into a championship match that you got to host at home, and you had a heartbreaker that was a heavily, contested match by all metrics regarding the refereeing in that game, the things that took place and everything. Where this team was at last season to where it is now is a huge improvement. It was a I don't want to say incredible performance, but this team continuously found a way to get the job done. You had that start of the season, which was an absolutely brutal gauntlet. You found a way to stay afloat, and then you handled your business more often than not versus the teams you should have beat. And we were without a DP for half the season. So this was a successful year for the 2025 campaign, and now you have an opportunity. You're guaranteed 2 more games, and let's go see what happens. And that's what you play for. That's the opportunity to go win a championship. Only one team gets to do it. Only one team can. If your metric for success is championship or bust, there's only one team who gets to celebrate that. So
there's only one good team by that metric.
Yeah, only one successful season. I'm going to celebrate this season. It was a successful one. It had highs and lows, but the guys found a way to get the job done. You got the job done, 6 seed. Congrats to everyone involved, the staff, the fans, everyone. It was fantastic.
35% possession for Austin at the end of this one. 25 shots to 5 in favor of the Quakes. That was 10 shots on target to 3. So look, 3 of your 5 shots on target. I think Austin, when they did have their chances, clearly we've seen worse. They did give Austin a big chance that was missed. I think that was actually that Taylor shot, which FOTMob's model gave 0.47 expected goals on target there. Little friendly judgment there. I think 15 corner kicks to 1 in favor of San Jose. FOTMob's expected goals model just 0.37 xG for Austin, 2.46 for San Jose. Expected goals on target 1.63 for Austin to 3.14 for San Jose. And I will say, I think 3-1 feels like probably the most fair score line in this one. And then just looking at the touches in the opposing box, 39-11, which also tells a lot of the story here.
Yeah, San Jose had to win this game. It was do or die, and they still died. So whatever. But yeah, I'm looking at the stats here too. Obviously, offensively, San Jose just completely dominated this game, as they should have. Because that's what we were trying to fucking do, as they should have done. Again, this is one of the highest scoring teams in the league, regardless if you're playing hard or not. And to be in this position where you don't have to play your fucking dudes on decision day is a fucking accomplishment. That's an accomplishment.
No, I'm with you. And again, scrolling through some of these charts on the MLS stat, Blue Sky. I'm with you, man. Ultimately,
what's going on here? LAFC.
Wrong game. Hasn't been posted yet. So I looked at the green on there a second ago and just pulled it up. So we're waiting on those. Maybe if we find anything interesting, we'll talk about that on Wednesday. But you can see Brad Stuver getting the man of the match there on FOTMob. Even after letting up, you take on 25 shots, you only let in 2. The FOTMob likes it. Some of the comments from Nico here. He said, we decided to manage the minutes to prepare us all for what's coming in the playoffs. So trying to toe the line between keeping a rhythm, he said, but also protecting from injuries. And I'm with you, man. I could give a shit about quote unquote momentum going into the playoffs, which I know some fans put some more importance on that than we do. Certainly the announcing team last night suggested that we should be worried about momentum heading into the playoffs. And I guess all I have to say about a momentum argument is that I guess now Vancouver, LAFC, Minnesota, us, Real Salt Lake, Portland, none of us have momentum. So congrats to San Diego, Seattle, and Dallas for being the best 3 teams headed into the playoff here with their win and all that momentum.
Yeah, and 2 or 3 of them had to play for their fucking, had something to play for. We had nothing to play for here. And I do partially understand the rhythm
I get the
aspect.
sentiment.
I understand that for sure. But like, again, all of the variables that were at place here, having Mirtu come back from traveling abroad, having played an international affair, Svatok traveling as well, Buka, potentially having a knock, although I do not think that is serious. You want to build some momentum and some rhythm. You come back when these practices are lined up here and you have good fucking sessions. That's how you do it. You stayed healthy. You want to be the most important availability is to be, the fucking quote. You got to be available.
the best ability.
There it is. The best ability is availability. You got to be able to, we got to have our guys ready to go here and ready to play and be healthy. And we accomplished that. So I am totally fucking fine with this. And let's get, it's LAFC. Here it comes. Vancouver shits the bed. Minnesota gets given the gift that LAFC loses to Colorado.
Drew.
Oh, they drew.
Got that second one right away.
Got the second one late there. So like we couldn't control those things. And now you get LAFC, the only team in the Western Conference playoffs that we beat twice this year.
Yeah,
true. At home and away. Thank you to the Pirates for that.
Yeah, good stuff.
A little bit trivia there, but obviously it made plenty of sense once I heard it. So let's see, man. Fuck it. They're going to be I think they got to be top 3 favorited to win the cup, I would imagine.
I would think. I can check on the odds here in a minute. I mean, I think I would also buy a little bit more into that momentum argument if we hadn't changed the playoff format 2 years ago to best of 3.
Yeah.
Right. No,
exactly.
The momentum for everybody is thrown out of the window because it's no longer knockout for the next 3 weeks.
That's a great point.
You got to win 2 out of 3.
That's a great
point.
So
fucking spaced out, which we can talk about here in a minute. Looking at the odds here, LASC actually 5th. At least we're pulling this from DraftKings. Miami 5-1, Vancouver and San Diego both 6-1, Philly 6.5, LAFC 7.5-1. Austin still hanging down there at 35-1. The same odds as Chicago Fire, but hey, we got better odds than only the 4 wildcard teams.
There we go. We'll take it.
2 of the other things that Nico was talking about, I'm glad he touched on this because he said a couple things that we like actual takeaways that we can still be working on this week and learn from that we could have done better despite the context of the matches. We went too deep defensively too early. Right? We didn't necessarily have to sit back for 80 minutes, 75 minutes, whatever it was, and take on as much water at the back as we did. I think I agree with that. And then certainly in the second half, I mean, some of those plays need to be on repeat in the TVs in the locker room. He said, we learned we have to be better and sharper on crosses and free kicks. And yeah, man. He said we need to improve with the ball more too to compete with LAFC, keeping possession longer. And I agree. And again, some of that will be fixed just when you have your first choice guys out there, hopefully, right, staying healthy. All the way to next Wednesday, E. Do you have anything else on this match before we talk just a little bit about the playoff schedule?
No, I'm good.
So I have a little bit of a bone to pick here.
Okay.
And it's with the schedule, and it's with the league here. Our first game against LAFC is scheduled for Wednesday, October 29th. That is a 9:30 p.m. Central kickoff, which, could be better, but that's just that, we got matched up with LAFC. That's going to happen. But that is the final game 1 of the first round. And looking at the league schedule for the game 1s, I do not understand why this game is on Wednesday. The game 1s begin on Friday.
Crazy.
With Miami and Nashville. And then you get no game Saturday, 3 on Sunday going head to head with the NFL. And again, I maybe should separate talking about what we're going up against from just the health of the players, the cadence of these games, because that's what I'm really upset about here. 2 games Monday after the 3-game Sunday slate, 1 on Tuesday, and then we're the single game on Wednesday. Tuesday is Charlotte in New York. That is a 5:45 p.m. broadcast time, Central Time. 5:55 p.m. kickoff Central. We don't kick off till 9:42 p.m. Central on Wednesday? Why is it not a doubleheader on Tuesday? Why are we playing on Wednesday? Especially because, and I can't believe I'm this upset about a schedule, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Doesn't.
Game 2 for us is Sunday. So that's when we host Sunday, November 2nd, 7:30 p.m. kick. That's daylight savings. So we're going to be walking in there in the dead of night, basically. But
yeah,
what I'm upset about is that we go Wednesday, Sunday, Minnesota and Seattle, Monday to Monday. Why do they have a week and we have less than 5 days? Because we play late night on the West Coast Wednesday, and then we play Central Time, prime time on Sunday. That makes no fucking sense. And then to add cherry on top with who we're going up against, you fucking morons in the league office. If the Blue Jays win the ALCS, if necessary, Game 5 of the World Series is in Los Angeles on the night of our playoff game. What are you doing?
Fuck if I know.
I'm calm.
Hey, brother, I don't know. You know, and obviously there's always imbalances on playoff schedules, and this thing happens because you can't get it fucking perfect. But to your point, the week off for Seattle, Minnesota, and the less than 5 days for us is egregious. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So whatever,
and
man.
No games on Saturday in the first round. We play one game on Friday, no game Saturday, then 3-2-1-1. What is going on?
Nuts. And I mean, even just in and of itself, the wild card matchup, cash grab. 3 games in the first series, cash grab. Like, this is what we're looking at. Obviously, when Apple got into the fucking picture and everything, you know, this changed how this was going to look.
Sure.
So I understand, you know, money makes all this shit go and everything, but like,
this is a competition.
Yeah, come on, dude. Like, this is, you know, again, like, there's 2 separate things at work here. There's the money aspect and everything, and then there's the fact that these guys are playing for, you know, legacy is not a great term in my opinion or whatever. Like, it, you know, it has all kinds of different meanings, but like, they want to win. These guys want to win. This is what they dedicated their fucking lives to, dude. And we're going to fucking squeeze out, you know, however X amount of dollars we're going to because we're playing 3. And I loved your point about the momentum shit, bro. In a 3-game set, dude, you get that first game to fucking figure it out. And like, you're gonna be road dogs as Austin in LA, of course. So like, again, being healthy, and then the fact that we would have had to play these guys, you know, the less than 5 days rest, stupid.
Well, and that's just, again, it's a competition thing. Why is one series get 7 days and we get 5? If it was a 1 day difference, okay, fine. Like that, okay. But that's significant, man.
I mean, like, then think about it. If Seattle or Minnesota sweeps and then we go 3, and now we're talking about those guys having an incredible amount of rest in between. And some people make the argument, oh, you know, rest versus rust. I'd rather have fucking rest, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'd rather have my guys at 100% with their
We've seen what our team does when we have games in quick succession.
Absolutely.
I will say, I do think this is cool and something that the league should do. Apple TV has dropped the season pass subscription requirement for the playoff games, so anybody can view these playoff games, which again, I don't know if that's bringing anybody else in, but for any, you know, let's say Austin fans who haven't signed up for season pass, right, being able to view this, that is a good thing. So I'll at least give them a little pat on the back for that. And again, we will preview game 1 on Wednesday's episode, which, holy shit, man, like, maybe you guys can hear this process live. We maybe take a bye week here, dude.
Oh shit.
Because like the game's not till next Wednesday. So why are we previewing a week out?
Are we gonna run out of momentum? Do we have enough momentum to do that? You think? I don't know. Apparently, according to MLS announcers, LAFC, who won 6 of their last 8 games, doesn't have momentum right now.
Yeah. That's really going to help us in this
6
series.
Of their last 8 games, even though Denny Buwanga and fucking Son just competed internationally and then traveled halfway across the fucking world to come back and play.
So there you go. There's some live behind-the-scenes talks there. I think all of you should expect no midweek episode here, and we will be back next weekend previewing Game 1 of the first round series.
The best keeper in the world.
Damien lost Louisville City. The best keeper in the world returned from his red card suspension against Orange County SC last night on the road. Keeps a clean sheet. Louisville was not able to score either, so a 0-0 road draw there against Orange County SC. Damien saved all 3 shots he faced on target. He did have 1 punch, 6 recoveries, and connected on 8 of 13 long balls accurately. Damien still, again, amidst, I think, a little bit of a knock, and then that red card suspension, has still only allowed 1 goal since August 16th, so more than 2 months now with that type of stretch. Louisville going to play a meaningless decision day game next Saturday, hosting Hartford Athletic. And check this out, man, just to show how dominant, we know how dominant Louisville has been, we've talked about it, but Hartford Athletic in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship is in 3rd place behind first place Louisville, just a 26-point gap between those teams.
Holy shit.
And that is, again, look, man, when you don't have a salary cap, that's what you get. It's not as pronounced in USL because there's nobody splashing that kind of cash, but I think it is evident here. That's how you have a team run away with a league like this. No salary cap.
Interesting. And we talked about one of the benefits that we really appreciated about Louisville was their program and sending Damien there to be part of a successful program. So shout out to them again. Wow. That is fucking impressive, man.
All right, let's clean up the nonsense here, And congrats to Soccer-Wise, the 2025 Verde Big Ball League champions. Congrats to David Goss. Congrats to Soccer-Wise, winning the 2025 Verde Best Ball League. 1,562 points, winning the final week with a 68. We Are Austin TV barely edging us out here for second E, 1531 for We Are Austin, 1530 for the North End, Verde All Day in 4th, Moon Tower in 5th, and the Verde Pendant holding on to that wooden spoon here this season. And look, man, Goss did it in the last month here, or month plus.
Yeah.
Soccer-Wise's last 5 scores in the Best Ball League E, 67, 71, 48, 65, 68. So well-deserved. David, congrats. 1 year in the league, 1 title. So that is 3 years in a row right? We've done it 3 years. First year, Moon Tower wins. Last year, we invite Phil and the Verde Pendant in. Phil wins. This year, we invite David in, and David wins. So kick ourselves out of the league, get re-invited next year. That'll be how we finally win this game that we created. But jokes aside, congrats to Soccer-Wise, and thanks to everybody for playing along. Always a fun time in the Verde Best Ball League.
And wasn't he was he in 4th or 3rd for the majority of the season?
Struggling,
right?
I think maybe 5th early on too. Again, it's so early in those first 10 weeks, but I don't think David was in 1st until the last 2 or 3 weeks there.
You got the Bogert bump is what he got there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Bogert came in there, gave him the lowdown. Great show, by the way. Everyone should watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will close out the picks E on a positive note. Again, Vancouver and Dallas screwed up our underdog entry there. We took a little bit of a swing for the Vancouver clean sheet, not to be. So you end the season on underdog plus 20.18 units. And then the picks, the goal scorers come back to carry us once again, as they did all season, plus 1.05 units at the books. So you end on a positive note there, plus 51.5 units at the books this season. So if you bet on every single one of the entries and the props and the picks that we gave out this year, plus 71.68 units. We couldn't find the 0.01 somewhere out there to be plus 0.69 here. So look, maybe we pick that up next year. And again, I think that'll do it for our picks here this year. We're just going to ride this 75-1 Austin ticket that we've got in, which the closing line value on that, man, 35-1 right now. So, moral victory.
That's right, man. That's right. Great on the picks, man. Congrats to you on that, because putting the legwork on that, and every season
Yeah,
If we had
going
the
up.
ZG Fop Mob with the win percentage,
Yeah.
way up there now. So that was fun. Yeah. Great season all around.
All right, man. Anything else for you here before we shut it down?
I just want to clarify that I was saying to watch the show The Lowdown, not that we were taking a jab at the Soccer Wise show.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay,
I figured that out late.
Okay, I wanted people to know that.
Big fan of that Lowdown show, aren't you?
Yeah, come on.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you tuning in and sticking with us here on episode 266 of the North End Podcast. Like we said a couple minutes ago, we're going to be back next Sunday previewing game 1 of Austin FC versus LAFC here in the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs. And of course, talking about everything else that happens in the Austin FC universe between now and then. Enjoy your week, everybody. We will do the same. We'll see you back here on Sunday for another episode. Until then, he's E. And I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.